Hey guys, welcome back to Curse of Knowledge here at Herman Wells. I am Bill Demas. I'm the disability attorney here at Herman Wells, and we have a very special guest with us today. This is one of our new attorneys. He is going to be practicing construction law with Alan, and as it's a growing practice here at Herman Wells. Now, if you need to contact us for anything, our phone number is 727-821-3195, and you can find us at hermanwells.com. So Dan, why don't you go and introduce yourself?
Yeah, so my name is Kennell. I'm from Central Florida, about 2 hours north, rural place, kind of like out in the hills. So a lot of lakes, chain lakes. It's my favorite place in the world. But came down here, went to Stetson Law, graduated, and been doing the construction defect stuff the whole way, all through law school, through graduation, and after the bar. So really excited to join the team here. And Alan's fantastic. There's so much experience and just knowledge here. And
he doesn't watch these things, so don't worry about kissing up to him.
I watched his before my interviews, so they're out there. No, but just really happy to be a part of the team here.
So where did you go to high school?
I went to Lake Mignot High School.
Okay.
It's a brand new high school. Actually, fun fact is I went to a brand new school, elementary, middle school, and high school.
Wow.
It was always a new school.
And where did you go to college?
University of Florida. So unfortunately, I'm a sad gate right now.
Yeah,
but we did win this week. So.
Yeah, we'll skip over that. So besides an attorney, what other jobs have you done?
So I've worked a lot with, my dad was a photographer, so he did freelance interviewing stuff. So I would always be in little audio tech, holding the boom mic, and I've done a lot of just, honestly over there, manual labor, tearing apart stuff and working on some farms over there. So yeah, it was really, really kind of like blue collar stuff before we got into the office jobs and doing the law. So
nice. What was your first job as an attorney?
So my first job was doing this, this construction defect. So the previous firm, I had a great opportunity to, come in with a growing department, and I helped the partners there kind of understand it. And I was really kind of the person who's doing the research and laying down the foundation. So you kind of took that department, after I passed the bar, and learned a lot, and now I'm taking it over here.
Nice. So for those watching, what is a construction defect?
So construction defect, it's an area that a lot of people, it's kind of a niche area, but it really comes down to, defects with contractors. You hire a contractor, they don't do your work properly. A lot of developers buy a new home. There's, as we know, Florida has a ton of development. They're speeding it up, and there's a lot of problems with that. It can also span to representing contractors, forming contracts, interpreting contracts, and, it trickles down to lien disputes as well. So it's pretty wide. But we mainly do, in my career, I've mainly done residential stuff.
So representing homeowners or business owners against contractors that didn't do the greatest work.
Exactly. Yeah, there's a lot of shady contractors out there, and a lot of people don't realize too that they think that just because you're a contractor that you're swimming in money. I've had a lot of friends who say, I want to be a contractor. A lot of these guys are going job to job, and the people they're hiring aren't the best. So in your experience, for those that are listening and watching, what would you recommend they do in what we call in the law due diligence, or people call homework, about a contractor that they're hiring? What should they look for? Yeah, so the first thing you really want to look at is, go on the DBPR website, make sure they're licensed.
Which is what?
It's the Department of Business Regulations.
Okay.
You can go search by contractor name, or if you look at your contract, they should have their license GC number on there. And you can do a search on that. You can find if there's been any reprimands, or even if it's active. That's the first step. And then you want to make sure too that they're a solvent business. So there's contractors range in size. It can be, father-son duo, or it could be a, statewide entity. So you want to do some research online. I suggest going to Sunbiz. You can do a Sunbiz search for the entity name and figure out if they're even active. That's the first step. And then from there, it's really getting involved in the beginning. Your contract is your leverage. So you want to review that contract, make sure that it's not, first you want to have a contract. You'd be surprised how many people do work where it's just on a handshake and they get an estimate. So you want to get everything in writing, and you want to make sure that you have, scheduled times in there, liquidated damages, stuff that's favorable towards you, because when something goes wrong, that contract is really the first thing we're going to look at. And if it's not in your favor, it's an uphill battle from that.
So if they have questions on what's a good contract, what's not a good contract, can they give you a call?
Absolutely. Yeah, no, we offer a service to review all your documents, contracts, and, we can advise you as to, what to add, what to, negotiate on. And I think that's, you want to get it from the beginning. You don't want to be calling us when your home's in disarray.
Right.
Catch it from the start.
And here's another little trick that you probably know, but I learned this the hard way, unfortunately, is if it's, Bluebird Construction, just making up that name, guys, because I don't want to name anybody. So if anybody has Bluebird Construction, I'm not talking about you. Just saw a bird outside. You want to also say, okay, Bluebird Construction is owned by Bill Demas, and then search my name. Because when I did that on somebody that did work at my house, I found out that there was no problem with his current company, but he had like 4 or 5 inactive companies, and he opened a new company about every 3 years, which means about every couple years he did something wrong, got sued, closed his company, started a new one. Is that something that you guys find too?
Yeah, absolutely. And the internet has a ton of stuff out there. I think of it sometimes as, say you got a first date with someone,
right,
or, and you're meeting up with a stranger online. You're probably going to search their Facebook. You're going to make sure that, everything checks out. And that's what I would do with a contractor, searching them by name. Social media is big on there as well. You can see kind of if they're, got a bunch of stuff going on, or, it's just kind of a comprehensive, and I would trust your gut. I mean, it's a big decision. Your home is your biggest asset. So if you see some red flags or you have, hesitance, I mean, there's a lot of contractors in Florida, so don't feel pressured by their pitch, to take them. I would just do a full review.
And now there are things on these contracts, assignments and liens and all that. Can you explain that to the people watching at home?
Yeah, so I think one of the, even as a homeowner myself, I mean, I don't find it fair, but it is the law. One of the things that my clients are the most surprised about is that when you have a contractor, they're going to hire subs. Most every single GC will. So if they don't pay their subs, then you're liable to pay them, and those subs can come after you and file a lien. So one of the major things you want to look at for that is that, is this a legitimate business? Are they solvent? Is it a 2-man crew? Because, I've seen it happen a bunch, and it's really unfortunate, that you're stuck with the bill even though you've done nothing wrong. You've paid everybody, and your contractor cannot pay their people. That's one of the biggest issues I see in lien law. I don't feel like it's right. It's not fair, but that is the law. So.
And the other thing that I would tell people, you're dealing with your house, which is probably your biggest investment you're going to make in your life. It is, especially with home prices now and things like that in Pinellas County, especially. So for the last 10 years, 15 years, I've gone by the adage, you get what you pay for.
Mm-hmm.
And so just for an example, I live in a neighborhood that has a lot of oak trees. And so every once in a while, these couple guys, real nice, have been coming around forever, will come trim up my palm, trim up my oak type of thing. Just get up there, thin it out for hurricane season. My parents had 2 or 3 big oak trees on their property that they needed removed. The city said they're breaking the foundation, breaking the sidewalk. The city gave them permission to pull them out. My dad, who is in his 80s, was trying to get the number of the 2 guys in the truck that I used to come take down those trees. And I said, absolutely not. If you're taking down huge oak trees, and I'm not going to say the name, but there's some companies that when you guys drive around, especially Pinellas County, you see their trucks. There's 2 or 3 big tree companies. And sure, are they twice as expensive or 1.5 times more expensive than the 2 guys in the truck?
Yep.
But guess what? They have cranes. They have insurance. God forbid they drop a branch on your roof that puts a hole in your roof. They're going to have the ability to cover it. The 2 guys that are, salt of the earth, but you may be right. They're living like most people, job to job. And if all of a sudden they cause, $6,000 to your roof, they go away.
Yep, absolutely. And that's another thing to look for, when you're in the stages of getting contractors, is to request, a certificate of their insurance, and get that policy if you can. And they should be giving it to you. They want your business, and that's kind of one of the issues that you face in construction law, is that, the insurance isn't going to step in. Largely, we're, going to be dealing with the insurance. They're the people who have the money. That's why the contractors have insurance. If your home is, has significant damage, most of these contractors can't pay it. No matter what. I mean, you can get the judgment, but the money's not there. So, that's an important thing, is to make sure your contractors have insurance. And like you said, you get what you pay for. The old adage is, you don't want to go with the cheapest guy, but you don't want to go with the most expensive guy.
Right.
You want to be in the middle. So I would encourage you to get multiple bids, make sure you have that range of contractors. And I've been there too, where we bring somebody over, they're giving you the pitch,
Right.
get the sales team over, you're very excited. If it's a project you're taking on, you want to get going, it's just best to slow down. Don't get caught up in, the pitch and the
Right.
dream of the new kitchen or, the addition, and just, take your time and make sure that you really vet everybody out.
And the other thing that you can do, and guys, they should be happy to do this for you, is if, let's say you're settling on Bluebird Construction, to keep the theme going, say, hey, Bluebird, can we have names of 3 or 4 people that you've done work for so we can reach out to them, or maybe we can go see it and things like that? I'm going to tell you, we had our kitchen redone by a buddy of mine. He's now down in Inglewood named Matt Ryan. He's incredible. I've known the guy for years, good friend. Kids played football together. So, but he all the time, when he lived in the area, he'd call me up and say, hey, Billy, I got some clients. Is it all right if they swing by tomorrow to see the kitchen, to see the work I did? I said, sure, go ahead. And these people came in and they were blown away by it. But if your contractor's not willing to do that, that to me is a red flag too.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
And so they can show you picture books all you want, but you don't know, that could be, as I said, get it off the internet from somewhere else.
Yep.
Call some of these people on the phone, talk to them, talk about their experience, because the work may be great, but if they turn around and say, yeah, Danny's great, but we kind of had to chase him. He wasn't showing up. His guys weren't showing up. They would take smoke breaks all the time. You don't know. And that doesn't deal with construction defects, but I think it deals with your overall satisfaction with the process, because you're already living in a dusted up, banged up house. The last thing you want to do is come home from work and you're rolling it at 5 and they've been gone for 3 hours and you don't know where they are. So just do your research with that. So you're working with Alan.
Yep.
Did you know Alan before coming here?
Not at all. No.
Okay. Now you've been here for what, about a month?
Yeah. Pushing him on.
Okay. And what are your impressions with the firm so far?
I think the firm is, the first thing that really stood out to me that's just different from anywhere I've worked, even talking with, attorneys I know, is really the client communication, staying on top of, we have a goal to communicate with clients. It's, every 30 days. That's something it's really is unique, and I know we market it, but it's something that, attorneys, they have a lot of cases, right? And there's a lot of things going on. It's very easy for clients to get lost in the fray, and here that doesn't happen. I mean, it is an essential part of the firm. So that's been really cool for me to see, that there's a firm that operates like that. And I think just the systems, the processes in place here, all the attorneys are, both professional, but just good guys. I mean, it's just a good group of people here, and I would, I haven't seen it in any firm I've worked at, so it's been great.
When you were talking about looking over the contracts and stuff like that, there has also been some law changes, I believe. I heard Alan talking about it at lunch. I don't do construction, so that's why I'm asking him about a change of law in what's called assignments of benefits or assignments of rights in construction cases. Mm-hmm. Can you give us a 6th grade version of that? Because I know when Alan tried to explain it, about halfway through, my eyes glazed over. Right. I didn't understand half of it.
Yeah, and I'm sure he's got a more thorough explanation than I do, but I'm the perfect person for a 6th grade level here. Right. No, but it's so there's been a lot of changes in the insurance industry, as we know. It's become kind of a crisis. Mm-hmm. And then something that was a really big part of it was the assignment of benefits. So essentially, it's you file a claim with your insurance company, and you get a contractor. Obviously, it takes time to get the payment from the insurance company. Contractor comes in and says, well, don't worry, we'll do the work, and insurance will pay for everything. And then that'll be in your contract. And most often, we know insurance companies, they're not going to pay you the full amount. Well, then you're stuck with a contractor who's really been just freely doing work, racking up a bill, and then insurance denies, and you're stuck with it, and a lot of people can't pay it. So there's been a crackdown on that, essentially, to, limit it. You can't use assignment benefits anymore. I think it's a constant game. It's dancing around. I think now they call it direct to pay. Right. But the idea is that the legislator's trying to protect the consumer more. That these contractors can't prey in on these big hurricanes and take insurance money. And I would just, when you see that in your contract, if you see direct to pay, assignment, anything like that, that should cause your attention. You really should be reaching out to somebody to take a look at that if you see that.
And remember, guys, you're used to seeing that because you sign that same paperwork if you go to the hospital, if you go to the emergency room, if you go to see your doctor. You sign what's called assignments or direct to pay, where it allows your doctor to go to the insurance company. And most time in health insurance, it works out. If payments are denied, the doctors have their own internal system and they usually deal with the insurance company and reduce bills and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, every once in a while I get a call because I do health insurance law where the insurance just didn't pay for something that they already said they were going to pay for, but that's a different type of issue. What the problem with these assignments are, from my 6th grade view, how I see it, is that there are people out there that don't really understand how it works. So what they do is the contractor comes in and says, oh, don't worry about it. This is a covered claim. The insurance company is going to pay for it. So let us just do the work. And you're like, sure, go ahead. And then you're like, oh, so Mr. Demas, how about this? Sure, go ahead and do that. I'm not paying for it. The insurance company is going to pay for it. Next thing you know, you have add-ons and run-ups and overages. And the insurance company turns around and says, our estimate was for, I don't know, $10,000. And the contractor has now upgraded everything and changed everything. And now you have a $50,000 bill. The insurance company is not obligated to pay for the upgrades. They return it to value. So if you have laminate countertops and cabinets, you're getting laminate countertops and cabinets from your insurance company. That's just the way it is, guys. That's what you pay for, okay? You don't pay for them to your upgrade to wood, okay? Also, there's something called depreciation. So if your cabinets and countertops are 25 years old, they may put in $5,000, $10,000 cabinets, but the insurance company may only pay a fraction of that because of wear and tear and they're 25 years old. That's how insurance policies work. But what happens is when they do this direct to pay assignment, people see that as a blank check and then rack up these huge bills. And then next thing you know, they can't pay it. You got a lien on your house. So that's what the legislature was trying to stop, is that predatory action. And I'm going to tell you guys, remember, the best way to do it sometimes is not to let your contractor be the go-between between your insurance company and you. Keep them isolated. You deal with it, and you go from there. This isn't like car insurance, guys. When somebody hits you, right, with your car, and the other person has State Farm, Allstate, Geico, whoever, the adjuster calls you up, you take some pictures of it, we've all done it on our app, right? And then they send you an estimate, and then they say, you can take this estimate to your body shop, or you can go to one of ours. And if the estimate's more, your body shop has to tell us why it's more. Or if it's our body shop, they really don't usually argue. It's not like that, okay? So it is the contractor's doing the work and then submitting the bill, hoping it gets paid. It's not like, well, hold on, you didn't put in another $300 to replace the pinstriping because there's a pinstripe on the car that now has to be replaced, and the insurance company goes, oh, I'm sorry, my fault. It's not like that. So I don't want you guys to act like it's the same thing. So do your homework. And if you have questions, you can call Alan, you can call Danny, and they'll be happy to talk to you about it. Danny, do you guys do that free of charge, or is there a charge for going over and helping these people with their contracts?
So right now, there's what we can do is charge you $750 to go over all your contracts, all your documents, and then advise you how to move forward. We're always open.
And guys, that seems like a lot of money, but that $750 is a steal. Because I'll tell you why. It's because when we review these contracts, sometimes we have to charge a flat rate instead of our hourly rate. And thinking of the time that Danny and Alan are going to take looking over the contract, researching the guy, looking over, making amendments, talking to you, and then a lot of times, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that you also deal with the contractor directly on the changes, or does the client deal with them?
Yeah, so we can advise you as to what to change in the contract, and we can work in provisions where we can speak with the contractor.
Right.
What I would say about it, is just when you're doing a project, your two main sources of leverage are going to be your contract, and the only other one is a lawsuit. So if you're having problems, you want to make sure that contract is steady, because if something does pop up, you will have the proper leverage to avoid doing a lawsuit. Even though we're attorneys and we go to court every day, it's usually not in your best interest to go through lengthy litigation. I mean, the ideal situation for us in construction is that we can reach out to the contractor, send them a notice, and they can repair things without doing a lawsuit. But when you don't have that leverage coming in with that contract, shocker, these contractors aren't willing to step up most of the time if they're not forced to. Then you find yourself in litigation, which can be, stressful.
And I'm going to tell you right now, if you look at the total worth of the project that you're doing around your home, putting in a pool, an addition, a new kitchen, and then you factor what percentage $750 is, it's ridiculous how small of a percentage that is. And also, you're putting the contractor on notice that you know what the heck you're doing.
Yep.
And they know that you've had it reviewed. Well, I talked to my attorney, they say this, and this, which normally, in my experience, means that they're not really going to try a lot of stuff because they know you have somebody right there on speed dial that's going to come in and get on top of it a little earlier. The other thing that you guys really need to look at too is your contract is the rule book, right? And you can't expect to win the game if the rules are stacked against you. Okay. And a lot of times these contractors, the contract, it's like betting in Vegas. The odds are always with the house. The odds are always with the contractor because it's their contract that their attorney drew up in their favor.
Yep.
So you're already going in, to use the sports analogy, you're already going in 2 touchdowns down.
Oh yeah.
Okay. The only way to even that out is to have somebody look at that so it starts 0-0. Okay. And not that you should attack every situation like there is going to be a defect or litigation, because in the majority of construction cases, there are no problems. They're great contractors that do great work. And if there are great contractors that do great work, then they shouldn't really have a problem with doing some things in their contract to make it more fair. So Danny and Alan are here for that. So what we do now, guys, and this is probably one of your favorite parts of this, is the lightning round. So Danny probably cheated and went and watched some videos because that's how he is. He's a good attorney. He does his research.
My research.
So I don't think he's going to be shocked by any of the questions, but let's see what his responses are. So what's your favorite pastime or hobby?
Definitely watching sports.
Okay. And what's your favorite flavor of ice cream?
Vanilla with rainbow sprinkles.
Wow. I'm just going to let that sink in, folks. Okay.
Yeah, I don't eat it much. I'm not a sweets guy, but that is, yep, I got a soft spot for it.
The shirt makes sense now.
Yep, exactly.
Okay. Favorite movie?
That's a really tough one. I mean, it's almost impossible to do without genres, but I'm going to go probably Big Lebowski.
Okay.
Yeah.
The other way I say it sometimes, if you're flipping through the stations, TBS and all that, like for me, if Gladiator's on, I'm going to watch it.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so Big Lebowski is one of those for me too.
It stops.
Yeah, it stops.
My time's off.
Okay. Best sitcom of all time?
It's another tough one. God, what even qualifies as a sitcom these days?
That's true.
I mean, Seinfeld's such a cop-out, but I've watched so much Seinfeld. No, I'm just going to go with Seinfeld. Yep. It is the golden standard.
Coke or Pepsi?
Coke.
Starbucks or Dunkin'?
My wife loves Dunkin', so Dunkin'.
Okay. Are people that sit directly on the beach, right on the sand without a towel or a chair, normal, or do they need help?
They need serious help immediately.
Thank you.
There should be a hotline for people.
Ketchup on eggs or no?
Absolutely not.
Thin or thick crust pizza?
Thin.
Do you like candy corn?
Sadly, yes. Yes, I do.
Early bird or night owl?
Early bird, 100%.
When you get chicken wings, do you want the flapper or the drummy?
Drumsticks all the way.
Corner brownie or center of the...
Oh, center. I'm going center first no matter what. I don't care
Really?
what it is. It's primo. It's the filet mignon brownies.
So, last meal and dessert. So, people call it the death row meal, but
Yeah.
death row meal and dessert.
It's a tough one. I mean, it's going to be seafood oriented. It's my favorite food. So, I'll do an appetizer of oysters. Do some raw oysters. Then probably crab legs and steak and I want to say I love potato salad, but I'm gonna have to go mashed potatoes. Just makes more sense. And then for dessert, it's not vanilla ice cream, but I would go with, honestly, it's vanilla cake. I love vanilla.
And that. So Desert Island album. I mean, the one album that, if there's only one album you could listen to, what would it be?
That's a loaded question. For the island, I mean, it can't be too, get too riled up. It needs to be relaxed. I'd say probably the Eagles is going to be the best. So I'll go to Hotel California.
Okay.
Yeah.
A person, either alive or from history, that you would want to sit down and just have a beer with and meet.
That's, I'm going to go historical. I'll say Ben Franklin.
It's a good one. The artist or group that's no longer touring. That's the key.
Yeah.
That you never saw in concert, but you wish you did.
Oh gosh. Well, Tom Petty. I was supposed to see him actually, I think a couple months before he passed. So, big Tom Petty guy. That's, yeah. Okay. And the Heartbreakers. And can't forget them.
Well, it fits. Central Florida.
Yep. Gainesville boy.
Yep. Your first celebrity crush.
Oh man. I gotta go way back for that one. I can't even tell you the name of this lady, but there was just a lady on SportsCenter. I was just a kid watching SportsCenter, one of the anchors. I was like, that's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool.
So that's the...
All right. Well, we got to go do research and fill that in later.
Yeah, we'll run the numbers.
Your favorite city in the world, other than, of course, the Tampa Bay area?
Of course. I actually just went to New York City. I thought I've never really been to New York City. It was, I'd probably say that. I loved it. There's just so much going on, so different from what I'm used to.
And the last question, would you rather speak every language or speak to animals, with the caveat that speaking to animals is out of language? Because, the bunch of attorneys caught me on that one.
Yeah. Well, problem is I'm afraid what my animals would say about me. They're probably, I miss some walks every once in a while.
Right.
So I would probably go with every language just because I don't want to, face the music.
Right. So, we didn't hit on this, but you're married.
Yes, sir.
And dogs, cats, birds?
Got one cat and one dog.
Nice. What kind of dog?
She is a 15-year-old Maltese.
Okay.
And the cat is, I believe it's a Bengal. It's very exotic looking, looks like plucked it from nature.
So guys, this was our talk with Danny in construction. Go back and watch the one with Alan. Alan really does talk about some more of the detailed assignment issues. If you need to talk to us, give us a call here at Herman Wells, 727-821-3195, 727-821-3195. The number should be probably down here somewhere. I don't know. And it's hermanwells.com. I'm Bill Demas. This was Curse of Knowledge at Herman Wells, and you guys have a great day. See you.